The most common dye that you can get from the local plants in the Philippines is yellow. You can get them from talisay, from mango leaves, but my favorite is working with indigo. I used to have a garden of indigo plants in my backyard, but they die. Sorry. They died. I'm Mariton Villanueva. I'm a natural dyer and designer. So Himaya is a sustainable fashion brand that focuses on natural dyes and handwoven textiles. Himaya started when I was making my grad collection for fashion school. I was very passionate about the environment and I was living a vegan lifestyle. I had a greenhouse where I had vegetables and herbs. I wanted to incorporate that lifestyle into how I make clothes. And I was deeply inspired by fractals of nature or patterns found in nature. This was one of my first mood boards. So I wanted to mimic how the patterns looked in textile. I researched about natural dyes, specifically shibori dyeing. Shibori dyeing is a resist dyeing technique that originated in Japan, where you use folds or stitches or threads to gather fabric and then dye. When you unfold the fabric, there will be prints or patterns. This is my first dye project. The patterns turned out to be my logo. This is made with shibori technique. And then wax printing is using beeswax or soy wax. You paint it to create the resist. And then eco printing is where you steal leaves gathered in fabric. This is my first eco print. It's one of my favorite objects here in the studio. I had no idea what plants were compatible to eco print with. It was just pure experimentation. I like the chemical reactions and also the surprise that happens after unbundling eco print. I like that it's a mix of art and science. I start my day with yoga. Sometimes I teach yoga, sometimes I practice yoga. And then I drink coffee. Sometimes I read my book and I go straight to the studio after. I like to dye on a specific day because it takes a long time to do and a lot of energy. And then designing I do on a different day. This is my studio. This is where I bring in clients for measurements. This is also where I invite some of my friends when they want to learn how to dye or to eco print. So here is where my current projects are hung. This one is handwoven and dyed with sapang wood. And then this is dyed with achuete. This is my first bridal client. And then after that, I fell in love with the process of making bridals. She had a theme of the ocean. She wanted to incorporate natural dyes. Here I have my first collection. I also have the scrap fabrics here in the basket. I want to use it for a future project where all the fabrics are patched up together. And here I have a stock of water-damaged textiles that have been damaged by flood or rainwater. I boil it with soda ash and detergent to get rid of the stains. And it usually just washes off after. It's pure cotton, so it's good for natural dyeing. I have a stock of hand-woven piña cotton silk for future collections as well. This was from Aklan. Piña mixed with other fibers because piña is very delicate. If you dye with piña alone, it might damage the fabric if it's immersed in really hot water or boiling water. This is where I do the designing and the pattern making. Sometimes when I have no space here, when it's filled with fabrics, I do it on the floor. I have my mordants here. I have some powder dye stuff, some cassette tapes and CDs. This cassette tape, it was made by my mom when she was younger. I like to play music when I sew or when I pattern. When I was younger, my cousin and I would dress up a lot. And also my lola and I used to make crafts like cross-stitching, crochet. She had a sewing machine when I was young. And she would alter clothes. Art was my favorite subject growing up. And I always had hobbies where I was using my hands to create something. This is my dye space where I do all the dyeing, all the eco printing and the extractions. This mural I made during the pandemic. So I painted it with plants that you can dye with. So this is the indigo plant. This is the lisay. This is supposed to be an avocado. This is a sapan wood leaf. This is a mango leaf. The most common dye that you can get from the local plants in the Philippines is yellow. So I have a lot of yellows in my works. You can get them from talisay, from mango leaves, from jackfruit leaves, from cogon grass, and a lot. The purple or pink dye is from sapang wood. Creates a red talaga. Pero if you add kalawang, it makes it dull. That's the characteristic of natural dyes as opposed to synthetic dyes that are really vivid. But my favorite is in working with indigo fera. Kasi you can get different shades and different depths. I source it from Abra or from Sablayan, Mindoro, from non-timber forest products. But I used to have a garden of indigo plants in my backyard. But they died. Sorry, they died. This one is eucalyptus buggrass, and then the other one is longleaf eucalyptus. Local eucalyptus. It's the easiest plant to dye with in eco printing kasi you get both dyes in the faces of the leaf. I researched online and then I also went to PTRI to learn natural dyeing here in the Philippines. I also went to Abra, to Namarabar, to learn from Kuya Jun. And that's where the natural dye capital is in the Philippines. I remember going to the indigo fields and he was showing us the flowers of the indigo or the seedlings and how to harvest them. He also showed us how to process the indigo from leaves to dye. I see the fabric as an art piece already. The actual making it into clothes is just another step. Like this one, I first created the patterns and then I shaped the draping to the pattern. I want to restart the garden or the backyard, growing my own natural dye garden. And in the future, I want a farm where all the resources are there. We have a future project with Kalinga. We're gonna be teaching them how to dye, and maybe I can learn as well how to weave using the backstrap loom, or maybe just aspects of weaving or the patterns they do. I want to keep taking workshops as well. I like to learn and to teach. I didn't expect to teach naman. I just wanted to learn more about the practice, and it felt good to teach. I learned from the students kasi new practices to dye or new ways to create patterns in yoga. Same thing, parang I learned from the students as well. As of now, I'm not teaching, but As long as there is a community that wants to learn dyeing, I will keep teaching.